Hi everyone, welcome back to Astrology Dome. Today I want to talk about the eclipse. We're going to have a lunar eclipse on the 26th of May, coming right up in a few days. It's going to be in 5 degrees Sagittarius, just near the south node. 5 degrees Sagittarius, first of all, you should look it up in your chart and see where that axis of Sagittarius Gemini is in your chart. And where is 5 degrees of Sagittarius? What department of life is going to be sensitized for you? Because wherever the eclipse falls, this is a heightened energy. It is like a strong energy coming to show us something in that particular life experience. So maybe it's in your first house, your personality. Maybe it's in your fourth house, your house. Maybe it's in your 10th house, your career, your 7th house, your relationship. Wherever it is, this department of life is going to get kind of a extra light to see what's going on. In general, eclipses run for about a year and a half. They have a sequence. It is not one or two eclipses. Usually it's few eclipses. We have about 4 or 5 a year. So it's lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, solar eclipse. Usually they're 6 months apart. So we usually get them around November, December, and then we'll get them around May, June again. That year and a half span, they will run on one axis. And when I say axis, I mean 2 signs would be sensitized. So right now, we're a year into the Sagittarius Gemini axis. And next year, they're going to shift into the Scorpio Taurus axis. So we're still not finished with the Sagittarius and Gemini axis, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. 5 degrees Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the truth. You know, when we speak our truth, when we seek what is true for us. But why is that? Because Sagittarius is all about our beliefs. And what you believe to be true is apparently true for you. And you create that in your life. So what is true for you? This eclipse, this lunar eclipse, will shed light. It's a full moon. So we're going to get a lot of light, a new perspective, a better perspective on what is our personal truth. What do we hold to be true? What beliefs are we running? This is our program, you know, beliefs. The beliefs we got when we were kids, the belief we are adapting as we evolve. What beliefs are we running? What program of belief are we running to create whatever it is that we create in our life? If you have areas that are not working so well for you, maybe it's time to check the belief system regarding to those areas. And that's what this eclipse is all about. The fact that the eclipse is right near the south node of the moon means that something has to be finished. Something ran its course and it needs to exit our life to make space for the new. So what is it that you are finishing? What kind of cycle? What kind of behavior? What kind of situation are you finishing? And you probably already know that. It's just going to bring so much energy into that department of life, into that situation, that there is no running away from it anymore. You'll have to face it. We'll have to face it. Each one of us will have to face something. Usually eclipse is a lot of energy, so it pushes us because sometimes people don't like to make changes unless they're being pushed. And that's why we are being pushed by those eclipses. Eclipses are not just a one-shot, a one-day thing. Before they come, we feel them for a few months, and after they leave, we feel them for a few months. So they have kind of a influence of about 6 months or so, obviously towards the eclipse itself, like now, today, the next few days are really heightened, and we feel it more. But that degree, 5 degrees of Sagittarius, and the opposite degree, 5 degrees of Gemini, will be affected. Any 5 degrees of mutable signs will be affected. So whatever planets you have in 5 degrees of mutables will be strongly affected. I want to show you the chart. I have it on my phone because right now I don't have a printer here, but I will post it on the video itself. So this is the eclipse chart in Los Angeles. I did it for Los Angeles time. And what's very interesting in this chart for me is that the eclipses, the sun, when we have an eclipse, the sun and the moon are in direct opposition. So we have the moon at 5 degrees Sagittarius and the sun would be at 5 degrees Gemini. But Jupiter is at 1 degree Pisces. And it is actually squaring the sun and the moon. So it's a T-square. Whenever we have a T-square, it is pressure, extra pressure, because the T-square requires us to take a deep look at something, see the pressure that's being created, and act upon it. It's an action square. So what is Jupiter? We usually say, oh, Jupiter is the planet of luck and expansion and beauty and great, and it brings success and all those good things. True. But Jupiter is also axis. Because Jupiter is so large and so big, it is bringing enormous expansion. But with this tension energy, do you really want an enormous expansion? Do you want it to be an explosion? We don't like explosions, right? It's a little too much. So pay attention not to go overboard with your reactions, not to be excessive with your emotions, not to go crazy and haywire with actions, because Jupiter can do it to you. And especially in Pisces, because there is something unclear about Pisces if it's out of control. Emotions are out of control, messages are out of control, you're being so impressionable. Be wary of axis, whatever that axis. So if Jupiter stands in 1 degree of Pisces, the opposite would be 1 degree of Virgo. What do you have around this degree of Virgo, right? Give and take 5 degrees from that. What planets do you have there? If you have any personal planets, they will be definitely affected. And you will have to act upon this personal planet because it will demand its attention and there'll be no escape. This is what this lunation is bringing us, this particular full moon, a pink moon. It's going to be very close to Earth, so it's going to be pinkish. It's going to be intense, and it's not a bad thing to be intense because intensity does bring us breakthroughs, and we do need breakthroughs. And the reason for eclipses is to sensitize those areas of life in your chart. So a good place to start finding out what does this eclipse means for you is to find out where is 5 degrees of Sagittarius in your chart, what house it is sensitizing, what department of life, what life experience, and what do you hold as truth for this department of life. What are your beliefs? What is your philosophy regarding that area of your life? It's very important to check those beliefs, because if things go right there, this is it, you're successful there. But if things are not right there, maybe it's time to check what are old beliefs that you can let go of, and how can you shift to have a better set of beliefs and philosophies and truth. What is your truth? What are you seeking there? What are your goals for that department of life? Eclipses are coming to sensitize the part in our charts that need extra light, because you see, we are evolving all the time, and all those transits, be it the slow moving planets that are sitting a long time in a certain area, in a certain house in our chart, or be it the eclipses axis that will take 1.5 years or so, they're all here to help us evolve to the next level. We keep evolving all the time. We're doing this in a spiral movement. So each time we have an axis being highlighted or slow-moving planets transit, we are being called to do deep work in that place in our chart, in that department of life. So a good place to start is, where is 5 degrees Sagittarius in your chart? And do you have any personal planets around 5 degrees of any mutable signs? And what are you being called to pay attention to? The answer to the 5 degrees Sagittarius lunar eclipse is the solar eclipse in Gemini, and we'll talk about it in the next video next week. Have a successful lunar eclipse, and I wish you to become the best version of yourself today and every day. Follow my channel if you want more information about the transits, eclipses, and other great astrology stuff. And I'll see you next time in Astrology Dome.